What if I told you Cinderella didn't get a happy ending, but a bloody revenge story instead? That's right. This ain't your childhood fairy tale, folks. Grimm Fairy Tales Volume 1 takes the classics you grew up on and flips them into brutal horror-fueled parables. And today, we're diving headfirst into this twisted collection of morality tales with a vengeance.
Welcome back to Top Secret Inc., the place where comic book secrets don't stay buried. I'm your host, Thorne Bishop, and today we're reviewing the entire first volume of Grimm Fairy Tales, a series that slashes through the veil of nostalgia and drags your favorite bedtime stories into the shadows. This book is part horror, part fantasy, and part guilty pleasure. And whether you're into dark reimaginings, cult horror vibes, or just really jaded with Disney, this one might be calling your name. Each issue in Grimm Fairy Tales Volume 1 serves up a modern-day morality tale wrapped in a bloody fairy tale retelling. And believe me, none of these stories end with a kiss or a dance at the ball. Here's the full breakdown of all 6 issues. Issue 1, Red Riding Hood. We open with Brittany, a high school cheerleader navigating a toxic relationship and a manipulative coach. When she receives a strange book from her substitute teacher, Sela Mathers, she's drawn into the brutal version of Red Riding Hood, where the innocent girl isn't so innocent, and the wolf finds out what happens when prey bites back. This is a tale of transformation and payback. Issue 2, Cinderella. A woman named Cindy is down on her luck, working for a cruel boss and spiraling through addiction. She's given a copy of Cinderella, but this isn't the Disney version. The fairy godmother is twisted, the prince is far from charming, and the slippers? Let's just say they don't come off clean. Cindy sees herself in the character, but by the end, she learns that fantasy can't fix real-life monsters. Issue 3, Hansel and Gretel. Greg, a rich frat boy, drugs his date and thinks he's untouchable, until Sela hands him a copy of Hansel and Gretel. In this retelling, the witch is terrifying, yes, but the kids are just as savage. It's a brutal reminder that predators aren't always the ones with the biggest teeth. This one delivers poetic justice, and the ending? Cold-blooded. Issue 4, Rumpelstiltskin Jasmine, a struggling college student, is being blackmailed by her pervy professor. She's desperate for a way out, until she reads Rumpelstiltskin. But in this version, the dealmaker is horrifying, and the price of power is more than just your name. Jasmine's story becomes a cautionary tale about shortcuts, secrets, and how bargains with devils never end well. Issue 5, Sleeping Beauty. This one follows Peter, a guy obsessed with his comatose girlfriend. Yeah, creepy from the jump. He reads Sleeping Beauty, but the dream world is more like a nightmare. In the fairy tale, the prince's kiss doesn't wake the princess. It dooms her. And Peter? He learns that obsession isn't love. And some people deserve to stay asleep. Issue 6, Beauty and the Beast. Allison is a beautiful, vain woman using her looks to manipulate men and rise through the ranks of reality TV. But after mocking a disfigured contestant, she receives a book, Beauty and the Beast. This retelling strips away the glamour and shows that ugliness runs deeper than skin. By the end, Allison's outer beauty may be intact, but her soul, rotting. Each of these 6 stories begins with someone at a moral crossroads and ends in either punishment or transformation. And at the center of it all is Sela Mathers, that mysterious red-cloaked figure who always seems to know exactly what story her target needs to hear. She's not there to save them, she's there to show them the truth. Whether they can handle it, that's another story.
Before we dive deeper into the mission, let's pull the files on the key players: heroes, villains, rogues, and wildcard operatives. This is the subject profiles. Sela Mathers, the red-cloaked judge, the mysterious narrator who delivers each cursed story to her victims. Her motives are hidden, her powers unclear, but her presence signals that someone's about to learn a very painful lesson. Brittany, the wolf's bait. A cheerleader pushed past her limits. When cornered, she turns from prey to predator in a savage retelling of Red Riding Hood. Cindy, the broken Cinderella, a woman suffocating under trauma and addiction. Her wish for a fairy tale ending unleashes something far darker and more violent than she imagined. Greg, the frat house predator, a privileged abuser who thinks he's untouchable. One night with the wrong story in his hands turns his world into a nightmare. Jasmine, the deal-maker's prey, a desperate student who makes a dangerous bargain. When her secrets are spun like gold, the price proves deadly. Peter, the sleeping stalker, a man obsessed with a woman who can't say no. His descent into twisted fantasy makes him a cautionary tale of toxic obsession. Allison, the beauty with a rotten core, a social climber weaponizing her looks. Her cruelty meets its match when the beast shows her what real ugliness is.
Let's talk about Sela, because she is the spine of this volume. She's no fairy godmother, more like the Twilight Zone's Rod Serling meets a gothic witch librarian. She's enigmatic, possibly immortal, and there's clearly more going on behind those icy eyes. As for the others, each story's protagonist is basically a modern archetype. Teenagers, addicts, abusers, victims, and while they aren't deeply developed, think cautionary tale format, they do feel real in their flaws. You're not necessarily rooting for them, and that's kind of the point. The writing is punchy, pulpy, and purposefully melodramatic. Dialogue is often cheesy, but that's part of its grindhouse charm. The art is stylized, with heavy lines, deep shadows, and a lot of cleavage. The series walks a fine line between exploitation and critique, sometimes uncomfortably, but it does commit to its aesthetic, dark, sexy, and violent.
They told us not to ask questions. They said the files were corrupted, the intel classified, the case closed. But we kept digging. Welcome to Black Box Theories, where the facts don't add up, the coincidences aren't random, and the truth buried under layers of denial. Strap in, agent. You're not supposed to hear this. Theory 1. Sela is a fallen guardian of the Grimm legacy. Classification. Classified intel. Sela's deep connection to the cursed stories may not be passive. She could be a former protector turned punisher. Some fans believe Sela was once part of an order that protected the power of the Grimm legacy before becoming corrupted or awakened to its darker potential. Her judgmental approach suggests she's enforcing justice, not just delivering stories. Theory 2. The book targets people based on psychological profiles. Classification. Blacklisted pattern. The cursed book doesn't appear at random. It's drawn to sin. Each character receives the book during a moral crisis. This suggests the book, or Sela, selects its victims using a supernatural filter. Whether it's greed, lust, or cruelty, the stories mirror and punish specific sins like a sentient karmic device. Theory 3. Every story, read, traps a soul inside the book. Classification, level red. The book grows more powerful with every tale told, and every soul lost. Some fans suggest the reason Sela continues to hand out the book is to feed it. With each victim consumed by their story, a piece of them is absorbed, making the book more sentient, more malicious, and more unstoppable. Theory 4. Sela's red cloak is a binding curse. Classification. Classified arcane object. That red cloak may not be fashion. It might be her prison. There's speculation that Sela is bound to the cloak and cursed to deliver the stories as penance for a past crime. Her detachment and sorrowful expressions imply she's more trapped than empowered. Theory 5. These are test cases for a darker universe. Classification. Ultra speculation. Each short story is a beta test for a larger supernatural system. Fans theorize that the events of Volume 1 are just the beginning, a way for ancient forces, or Sela herself, to test moral consequences on a small scale before unleashing something world-changing. The anthology structure is just a mask for a brewing apocalypse. Theory 6. The beast in issue number 6 is a repeating entity. Classification: pattern detected. He may show up in different stories, with a new face each time. Some readers point out that the beast in Allison's story shares thematic and design elements with other monstrous figures across the series. Is he a manifestation of judgment, or a recurring force that feeds on vanity? Theory 7. Sela was once a victim of the book herself. Classification: deep file. She didn't find the book, she survived it. Sela's knowledge of the stories may come from personal experience. What if she once read the book, survived her tale, and emerged as its new caretaker, forever changed, forever bound? Theory 8. The book only works on people who deserve punishment. Classification: conditional access. Innocents never get the book, only the morally compromised do. This theory posits that the book functions as a moral compass. It doesn't waste energy on the good-hearted. It targets only those who've already taken a dark path, offering one final chance or consequence.
Each issue is standalone, but the framing device hints at a larger mythos. Sela's library, the cursed book, and the subtle supernatural elements all suggest that there's a deeper world bubbling underneath the surface. It's not fully developed yet, but the seeds are definitely there. Grimm Fairy Tales Volume 1 is unapologetically dark. Not gritty realism, but gothic, moralistic horror. Every story ends with a twist or brutal punishment. The tone leans toward EC comics for the Hot Topic generation. It's more grindhouse than psychological horror. Think jump scares, gore, and messed up endings, perfect for fans of Tales from the Crypt or Final Destination. Themes hit hard and fast. Actions have consequences. Evil doesn't go unpunished. Beauty fades, power corrupts, lies destroy. These stories are moralistic to a fault. Each tale is basically a cautionary PSA dressed in blood and fishnets. The symbolism isn't subtle, but it is effective. Grimm Fairy Tales was part of that early 2000s wave of indie horror comics with a sexy twist, books like Witchblade, Fathom, or Hacklaw Slash. It capitalized on the trend of subversive fairy tales and edgy, female-driven horror anthologies. Love it or hate it, this book helped put Zenescope on the map, and that's no small feat for an indie publisher.
Some intel doesn't belong in the open. When a story gets too twisted, too dangerous, or just too damn weird, we file it under red. This is the red files, classified content, high-risk statistics, and the kind of secrets you don't unsee once exposed. Proceed with caution, agent. Red File number 1, Zenescope's breakout hit. Grimm Fairy Tales. Volume 1 was the title that launched Zenescope Entertainment into cult comic fame, despite critical pushback for its graphic tone and sexualized art. Red File number 2, Sela wasn't always the narrator. In early concept stages, Sela Mathers wasn't part of the series. She was added later as a mysterious anchor to give the series a mythological and connective backbone. Red File number 3, the art was heavily influenced by 90s pin-up comics. Many of the artists drew inspiration from books like Witchblade and Fathom, explaining the exaggerated, hyper-sexualized character designs. Red File number 4, fairy tales were chosen based on modern sins. Writers admitted they picked stories to reflect relatable sins, vanity, addiction, obsession, giving each tale a moral horror angle for modern readers. Red File number 5, the book changes appearance. In multiple issues, the cursed book slightly alters its cover, possibly reflecting the story or person it's targeting. Red File number 6, Wide Sleeping Beauty story, was inspired by a real-life crime. The disturbing themes in issue number 5 mirror a real-world case that involved non-consensual acts on comatose patients, used to highlight moral depravity in modern contexts. Red File number 7. Several characters return in later volumes. Characters like Sela and others hinted at in the background reappear in future Grimm Universe titles, suggesting these are not one-off tales, but interconnected fates. Red File number 8, The Grimm Fairy Tales, were almost a TV show. In the late 2000s, there were talks of adapting the series into a dark anthology-style TV show, but the project was shelved during early development.
All right, agents, intel has been gathered, dossiers reviewed, and it's time to declassify the best of the best. Welcome to the awards segment, where we spotlight the operatives, wild cards, and game-changing moments that made this mission unforgettable. Let's hand out some top-secret honors. Top Operative Award goes to Sela Mathers. A walking enigma wrapped in red, Sela isn't just the narrator, she's the silent judge of humanity. Every panel she appears in drips with mystery, and by the end of the volume, you'll want to know everything about her. Dark Horse Award goes to Cindy, abused, overlooked, and discarded, until she turns the tables in a way that leaves you stunned. Her arc is tragic, bloody, and unforgettable. The Spyglass Sequence Award goes to the final page of the Red Riding Hood issue, when the hunted becomes the hunter, and the wolf realizes the trap was set for him. That twist ending hits like a shotgun blast of poetic justice. Volume 1 sold well enough to launch an entire franchise. Spin-offs, crossovers, cosplay contests, it became a cult phenomenon. It's polarizing. Critics often slammed it for being exploitative. Fans loved the camp, the horror, and the twisted empowerment of Sela. Like it or not, it carved out a corner of comic book culture, and it's still running today. Let's wrap up how we feel about Grimm Fairy Tales. Its strengths: darkly creative reinterpretations, a strong central figure in Sela, consistent moral tone with fun horror payoffs, unapologetic genre vibes. Its weaknesses: one-dimensional side characters, heavy-handed messages, sex appeal sometimes overtakes substance. Who is this book written for? If you love dark anthologies, cult horror, sexy gothic aesthetics, or twisted fairy tales, this one's got your name carved in blood. If you're looking for nuance, subtlety, or family-friendly vibes, stay far, far away. We give it a final score of 7 out of 10. It's not high art, but it knows what it is. And for the right reader, it's a bloody good time. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button like it owes you a moral lesson. Drop a comment below. What's your favorite twisted fairy tale, or which one should they ruin next? And don't forget to subscribe to Top Secret Inc., where we uncover what the big publishers don't want you to know. Until next time, keep your secrets sharp and your comics sharper. I'm Thorne Bishop. Stay dangerous.